Welcome back to another episode of Free the Plant, Free the People, presented by BluRok Farms. I'm your host, LeVar Edie, and welcome to another episode of Free the Plant, Free the People. Today we're going to dive into I would say, a very on the tip of the tongue topic. Everywhere you go, you can't really escape it. Everybody's talking about it, saying it's the wave of the future. And if you haven't guessed by now, we're talking about the AI revolution, the artificial intelligence, which it might seem like a buzzword right now, but it's a lot more than that. It's a powerful tool that can change how you interact with your customers, how you run your business, and even change the future of retail. So let's dive deeper into AI, how you can use it on the retail side in the cannabis space, and just dive deeper into it and its relationship to cannabis. So this is cannabis and AI. So let me start with a recent stat that I found out from McKinsey that shows that companies using personalization see a revenue increase of 5 to 15%, with marketing spending efficiency improving up to by 10 to 30%. So by personalizing how you're generating your personalizing your company and your products geared towards consumers is increasing your revenue because from the consumer perspective, I feel like this was made specifically for me, one. And it affects the specific needs I was looking for. So it's solving a problem. So that's why it can help it so that you're being more efficient in your spending, specifically marketing. You're going to get more bang for your buck with that. So that's one area where we're going to get a little bit more in detail about how AI can help personalize certain aspects of your retail chains. For cannabis retailers, especially BIPOC and women entrepreneurs, this could be, like I said, a game changer. It can really set you apart from other people. Can be a competitive advantage that you might need to propel you versus these larger corporations. So let's explore how to harness this technology and use it and make it work for you. And I would like to use um, uh, a quote that I got from Tech with X, which is she's an AI expert in the field of artificial intelligence and large language models. And one of the things she said in an Earn Your Leisure podcast was use artificial intelligence um, to excel on the things you're already good at, um, to make you more efficient in your realms of genius or your realms of excellence. So that's how you should use it as not as a crutch, but more as a tool to amplify your skill sets that you already have and help you improve on your weaknesses. So just shout out to Tech with the X. Anytime I can hear her speak, I always learn something really, really riveting and really important in this space. So let's talk about how AI can reshape customers' experience. So as I stated, AI can reshape customers' experience in many profound ways. So let's break down some of the examples of how you can do this. First up is dynamic pricing models. So what I mean by that is, so imagine you're running a dispensary and having AI analyze your local events, demand patterns, competitors' pricing to adjust your pricing in real time. So it can see what your competitors are pricing at, what the market is being set at, and adjusting the prices accordingly in real time so that you can get higher sales in real time versus having to wait to analyze all that data yourself, then make the adjustments. But during that time, those customers that you currently had in store have changed. And so as well as the data of what is influencing your customers might have changed. So the more data you have, one, and the faster you can react and interpret and analyze that data, the better you can refine your pricing to match what the market and your consumers are demanding. So it's like having the best example of what I just stated is like having a super smart pricing manager that's on the clock 24/7 and just automatically changing your prices to suit and maximize on your consumers' buying power. by adjusting the prices to fit their needs. So for like small businesses specifically, that is a game changer. Um, because like I said, you can take advantage of the customers in your store in real time and adjust the prices as need be. But using tools like Spotify Plus and using other data collecting tools like Headset are ways that you can help you start breaking down this data and performing these dynamic price models. The other aspect of that you can use in this space is personalized product recommendations of having that AI analyze the data and the consumer patterns of people in real time and saying, okay, especially if it's a consumer that's come to your dispensary frequently, you can see their patterns in real time. The AI analyzes it, excuse me, and then when the consumer comes in, you can make the recommendations or have your bud tenders make the recommendations stating, for the last 15 times, they've always gotten a lemonine, strong terpene profile of all the flower that they've bought. And so you might not have a lemonine dominant strain currently at your dispensary, but you might have something similar close to it. Um, uh, you know, I can't think of one right off the top of my head. Oh my gosh, my brain's going blank. Um, but like Tropicana sulfur compound, uh, that strain that has those compounds in it might be a suggestion that you can recommend to that patient or that customer, and therefore you can still get the sale. The customer is happy because they got something that they wanted that they might not have thought about before, but is very similar in the pattern of what they like. And therefore, you have the opportunities to still garner that sale versus not having that information. They come in, they ask for a recommendation. You say you don't have a lemonine dominant strain, and that's it. Versus impressing that customer by telling them before when they come up, you take their ID, say, hey, we have this strain, ChemDog Plus or Tropicana. Tropicana is better than ChemDog. Tropicana, which has that flavor profile and that aroma profile that they might be looking for, that's more on the citrusy side, that you can now recommend to them, which you wouldn't have got that sale prior. Um, and that's more impressive to the consumer of that's a recommendation that you just gave to them versus you have to pry and get that information out of them to get that recommendation. So that's just other ways that you can think about using these tools. And ways that you can use tools like that are platforms like LeafBuyer or Weed Maps that provide a lot of insight. Now, all these recommendations I'm providing aren't, I have no affiliations with them. I do have an affiliation with LeafWell, so if you do want to get your cannabis card, your medical cannabis card, use the code BluRok Farm 10 or BluRok 10. I'm sorry, BluRok 75, excuse me. BluRok 75 or BluRok Farm 10 to get 10% off if you're outside of New Mexico. And if you're in New Mexico, use BluRok 75. But the rest of these companies that I'm mentioning, I don't have any affiliations with, and they are larger corporations. That's how they're able to get the data sets that they are and to provide the analysis they can by having access to these larger corporations, the larger cannabis companies, these larger dispensaries. And they have the capital to be able to access these larger data sets to give you more personalized defining data that you can use to steer your company and your business. Another exciting way that you can use AI in the retail side of cannabis is chatbots. Having a artificially intelligent powered tool can answer your customers' questions about products availabilities, the effects specifically for cannabis products to give them more detailed explanation of what they might experience on these. Again, every strain is going to have a different effect on every person, but there are some generalized effects that you might experience on certain strains and certain products that your dispensary might sell that you can then give to the consumer through the chatbot where you're not using the time that you have, especially the small businesses that have small staff numbers, where you might be, the CEO of the company and the bud tender and the front desk person that's checking people in to get you into the dispensary, as well as the cultivator. Like, you're running all these things. You don't have the time to really answer emails and answer questions on your website, even though you would love to. And that's why the chatbot would be handy in that regard of being able to set it to kind of answer in the same regard that you would have, but more in a generalized way, to provide the information that the customers want, but still be compliant, and do this all in real time. So it would be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, where you can do that while you're sleeping. There's a Gartner study, a Gartner 2022 study, that shows dispensaries using chatbots saw a 40% increase in customer engagement. So again, the data is showing that by using these tools, it's providing quality and services to your consumers that are driving sales, to help keep your businesses in business. So by increasing customer engagement by 40%, that's a lot of happy customers that you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise without sacrificing some other aspect of your business. So these are other ways that you can keep in mind of ways of using these kind of programs and artificial intelligence and large language models to be able to use them to your advantage to help excel your businesses and not hinder them. And then finally, in this regard, I'll talk about the loyalty program of using artificial intelligence to track customers' behaviors and automatically update them on loyalty rewards. Like, oh, you already have received, you bought, you made 5 purchases at our dispensary, so that makes you eligible for a free pre-roll or a gummy with 10% discount. By informing the customers up to date with that, instead of you having to go through that data, figure out if the customer has reached these points, and then let them know, it can be set automatically. That will increase sales because now that the consumer knows about that, they can then take advantage of those deals, those sales, or whatever. So that's another way that you can use AI, large language models, to help facilitate your businesses in ways. And platforms that you can use to help with these like loyalty programs that I'm talking about would be Spring Big, which was can't talk today, which was specifically designed for the cannabis market or cannabis businesses, and which makes it easier to implement for personalized loyalty systems for smaller businesses that might be wanting to take advantage of that. So that's why these things are important. So now let's get down to some more of the real about it. How can Black, BIPOC, and women entrepreneurs leverage AI without needing the budget of a tech giant? Because we know it costs money to have these services, these platforms, these using ChatGPT, Gemini, Sora, tons of other ones out there to help with this. But there are AI programs and AI services out there that can be useful for small startups that are manageable and have manageable data sets that you can use. Klaviyo, Klaviyo, can be useful for email marketing. Sprout Social can be useful for social media analytics. So these are kind of some platforms that you can use that can be lower on the budget of gathering customer data. Then you can then use that data that's collected from your dispensaries and stuff like that to then import into AIs without feeling like overwhelmed. And it'd be a manageable amount of data set that you can put into the AI that can give you some tangible things to use into your business, without getting into the weeds of large language models, prompt engineering, things of that nature. More smaller, scalable things that you can take advantage of. For more affordable platforms, you can use Canix, which is Canix, and Flourish Software, which offers AI-based inventory and marketing tools tailored for cannabis businesses. So these can help in that aspect of it. And then you don't need to reinvent the wheel by just use tools that are already out there and built for the industry that you're in. Now, the cannabis industry is so young that in some spaces there might not be those tools, and that's a space and opportunities for you of if you are an engineer, software engineer, code engineer, in that aspect, then that might be something that you might develop and create if it isn't already created. And that may be a space for you that's an accelerated cannabis business that isn't plant touching, that can be scalable and then used in other industries as well. Um, so I think that's a really good way of thinking about things, especially if you find out that they don't have the tools that you feel like you need. Create them and then make that as another stream of revenue for you. Another idea is to pool resource. So the co-op idea of I have a small business, cultivation, you have a dispensary, you have retail, you have manufacturing. That's 4 businesses right there. We all collect our money together, we pull it together, we put it in, and we buy data set. We buy into headset, we buy into other data collecting services, tell them the data that we want in the areas that we all need, get that data. We split up the data for the areas that you need. We all use that data and then create the ecosystem that I'm talking about with BluRok Farms, of using that data to help build your business, using that data to help build those other businesses in that ecosystem, and then you all build together to create bigger, better, stronger businesses that help the community as a whole. And then that way, then you can co-fund an AI system, manage inventory, pricing, and customer insight that all of you guys are using. Because if I'm the cultivator, I'm selling wholesale to the manufacturer selling to the retail, there you go, so on, so forth and so on. That allows that, so it's in my interest that the retail that the manufacturer is selling to does well. So using that data to say, if I see something in that data that might help the retail, give them that information. And vice versa. If they see something from the data on the retail side that can help drive cultivation of, oh, we're seeing that in the summer, limonene is the high terpene profile of all of the strains that are being sold, where in the winter it's myrcene or beta carotene, then that gives me information as the cultivator of, one, what strains I should be cultivating and when. To have that harvest ready right before summer for the limonene products, have the harvest right before ready for winter for myrcene and beta carotene. So using that data to help propel your businesses in that way, and then, but creating that ecosystem so that you can get the data to be able to do those things that I'm talking about. And then business forecasting, like I just stated, of creating that idea of we're seeing the trends that happened, what are we predicting as the trends to forecome, and preparing our businesses to be able to withstand and capitalize on those opportunities when they come. Using tools, like I said, of a headset to use insights for predicting what products will be demand next month, next season. Like, for example, the data might show what I'm seeing is last year there was a high spike in CBD-infused, THC-infused beverages, specifically starting to lean into alcoholic beverages. And so if I believe that trend's going to continue, and we're going to see an increase in that aspect, and even an increase in just THC beverages, period. And combined with kombucha, combined with other considered health beverages, I think that's going to be an aspect. And then having CBD infused beverages for relaxation seems like it's becoming a trend. So getting the data from headset from all dispensaries across the nation in different states, different territories, different demographics, and seeing what the data is telling you and what direction is indicating that it might be moving to. And then you can stock up accordingly if you're a retail. If you know that it's going to be CBD infused beverages, you buy more of those than you did previous season. Again, back to the limonene myrcene time. If you know limonene is going to be a high product in the summer, you stack up on that right as summer's starting to hit to prepare for that summer wave where you'll need it. And then potentially, if that's your business model, increasing the price on limonene at that time, because that's when it's going to be highest in demand. Supply and demand. If you know you have a great supply of it and there's a high demand for it, therefore change your prices accordingly that fits your business model and that you ethically feel valuable to you, and that will continue your business to be profitable and sustainable. or cutting waste at certain times, of knowing when to do a sale on pre-rolls. All this information can be kind of foreseen through data, and that data can be getting through different programs and different companies. So uh, AI isn't just transforming retail in the United States; it's shaping global trends. So if we take a look internationally, cannabis cafes in the Netherlands are popping up more frequently, which they've had a stance on cannabis a lot longer than we have, but the trend of it moving in that direction might be given insight to what the trends will be coming here. To cannabis, we're seeing cannabis lounges here in New Mexico. Uh, I would love to see the numbers on the participation at these cannabis lounges, because I don't quite see that the numbers quite fitting that. And maybe it's the setup of the lounges. Maybe it needs to be more like cafes. And that might change the profitability of that business model. I don't know, but having the data and looking at data from different markets might provide some insight. Um, some are using AR-powered AR/VR technology to guide customers through virtual strain experiences. So they put on this AR/VR set, and it kind of gives them the virtual feeling of the effect that they would have on a particular strand. Um, Before they buy it, so that they can kind of experience the effect and then say, you know what, I don't kind of like that one, but ooh, I like this one. And then go buy the strand to match that effect and then go home more satisfied. So increasing customer satisfaction in that regard. Um, so imagining offering like an immersive experience at your dispensary, where, because that was the kind of idea with the Cannabis Lounge. And I think if dispensaries were advertising it right, such as saying to their budtenders, when somebody comes in and they're apprehensive about a certain strain, say, hey, well, why don't you get a pre-roll of this? Go to our cannabis lounge, smoke it. If you like it, you don't even have to hit the whole joint or the whole pre-roll. Just hit a couple of it, see how the taste feels, see how the effect feels, and if it's something that you like, come back on this side and get an eighth, get an ounce, get a quarter, you know, or try a couple of joints out in our lounge, and then come back and then determine out of that flight of joints which one you want to, you know, buy more in bulk. Um, those are kind of different ways and strategies to help provide that experience to get them to buy more. Um, and then digital service is delivery service is a hot trend. Now, I'm more apprehensive on delivery services because you're going to end up competing with Uber, Amazon Eats, and other large corporations, so which already have the infrastructure for delivery and have the capital to withstand it. So that's my apprehension on it. Um, but I would see that more as a short-term entrepreneurial goal, and have a way to pivot out of that if that were to happen. But using AI to optimize routes for faster, more efficient deliveries, using ease, so that you can help with inventory and customer experiences better. And then it makes your business models more scalable. Um, and then you won't have to have a fleet of vans to be able to provide the same service of delivery. So we've talked a lot about AI. We talked a lot about how you can integrate that into your retail and dispensaries and provide better services for your consumers. Um, and at BluRok Farms, we're looking ahead. And that's one thing that I constantly want to say, is always looking ahead, seeing where the market's going to take us, how we can best capitalize on that, and propel it so that we can maintain this ecosystem, maintain the people in spaces that look like us having ownership. So AI has already been a part of our strategy for inventory management, customer retention, especially because we do a lot of more business to business, so wholesale. So that relationships, uh, we want to make sure that they are retained, especially our larger buyers. So using those AIs to make sure that we're maintaining those relationships and maximizing on our inventory is really important and a lifesaver for us. We're also exploring how AI can drive personalization for our retail experience in the future when we get our dispensary. Um, like we're developing a system that recommends strains based on customer profiles and feedback. So that's something that we're interested in. So um, and develop. And our vision isn't to stop at the customer level, but it's to have AI helping us in planning our inventory and forecasting trends to stay ahead of the curve in both domestic and international markets, as I brought up as well. And if we can do that, I know us and companies that look like us can stay together and continue to grow in this industry together. So, I know we talked a lot. Today we covered how AI is revolutionizing cannabis retail and how businesses, especially BIPOC and women entrepreneurs, can really benefit from it, and creative ways that they can use it to uh, might seem like small things, but have big impacts on their business. AI isn't just for big companies. It's a tool that can be accessible and incredibly powerful for anybody that uses it strategically, especially if you use it to build on your excellence, on the things that you're already good at. Um, and again, remember, it's a large language models. It does have hallucinations. It does have tokens that are going to be incorrect. So make sure to check the information that it's giving you. And that's why I say use it as a tool, not as a crutch. Don't just take what it gives you and go off of that. You really got to work with it to make sure it's providing quality answers for you and cutting down the time. So really keep that in mind. And if you're looking for ways of having AI work for you in your business, definitely let me know. Um, and another takeaway is when you're looking at like companies like Headset, Kaliva, Spring Big, those other companies that I mentioned, and doing the collaboration and sharing the cost, make sure you have really good contracts in that of how that's going to really work out. Uh, Worst case scenarios, best case scenarios, just so that everybody that is contributing their dollars, hard-earned dollars that they're using for their businesses, is being allocated and accounted for appropriately, and that you're getting what you expect out of it when it comes to the data sets and stuff like that out of the group, and that you have in mind how you're going to use that data. Because having data, just having data isn't great. Um, Knowing how to use the data is what makes it useful and beneficial. So, again, if you're curious about consulting or getting a quote for consulting, please make sure to email me at levaready@blurockfarm.com. That's LEVAREADY at BLUROKFARM.com. And yeah, we can help you with different aspects: retail, manufacturing, processing, cultivation specifically. That is my bread and butter, but I am very proficient in all aspects of the cannabis industry. We can help you with the marketing, especially with AI integration at every stage of your business. As well as we have great relationships with other people in other spaces, like Chelsea, who also does consultations, and then other people in our network that do consultations as well. So please feel free to reach out. And thank you for tuning in to Free the Plant, Free the People. Be sure to follow us on social media, share this episode, check out the BluRok Farm, check out BluRok Farm on social media for updates on what's going on, and see how we're using AI to drive innovation. So keep it locked, stay in, smoke something good, and we will be talking about AI moving forward, as well as in how you can use it in cultivation and in manufacturing as well. So stay tuned for those topics as well, and let us know how you're using AI, how you're using large language models, and how it's benefiting you. And we're out. How long was I? Oh, okay. I'll take it.